want to guarantee success in business and life, all that you need to do is follow these 8 very simple principles. I constantly get feedback from people saying things like, Mike, it seems like everything you touch turns to gold or works out or succeeds. And genuinely, the only reason is because I follow these very key principles and laws. Now, I've never shared these publicly, but I know from personal experience and helping many others with it, that if you embrace these laws that I've created for my own business, it will completely change your life. Now, because these laws are so powerful, I'm going to also do something that I never do, which is ask you for one thing, which is to share this with one other person today, or share it on social media who you think needs to hear this. Because again, these principles have allowed me to build a multiple 7-figure per year business without doing anything special. I've never done anything that nobody else can do. I've just followed these 8 simple laws. So without further ado, let's dive in to my 8 principles of business and life. Number 1, the principle of one thing, which ironically applies in 2 different ways. Now, the first way is focusing on one singular task until completion, focusing on one thing at a time. A quote that changed my life was by a mentor of mine who said, Mike, the man who chases 2 rabbits catches none. And a lot of people are focusing and getting scatterbrained on so many different things where they're being very mediocre at a lot of things, but not excelling and becoming excellent at one thing. So if you look at entrepreneurs that are thriving, they focus on one single thing until that is executed. So let me give you a couple of examples. This could be, if you've got a to-do list for the day, focusing on one thing at a time until completion. One of the things many people struggle with is they do a task 25% of the way, then they move on to something else. Then they come back to it and work on it a little bit more, and then something else. But if you want to thrive and build massive momentum, it does take discipline and grit, but focusing on one thing at a time until that's executed to completion. This also goes towards things like, for example, what I help a lot of people with, which is social media to scale their real estate business. So for example, if you want to implement YouTube into your business, focusing on just YouTube until you start to see tangible results from it, not focusing on YouTube for 3 months and then, oh, it didn't work out, I'm going on to TikTok. Oh, TikTok didn't work out, great, I'm going to Instagram. But doing that one thing until you excel at it. Now, the second way one thing applies is in terms of learning. So one of the things you'll see is people are going to events, seminars, buying programs, paying for coaching, expecting for it to change their life and expecting a whole slew of different things to come from that is basically just going to do the work for them, which does not happen. So the way that I've excelled is if I buy somebody's program, if I pay for coaching or mentorship, if I go to an event or a seminar or some sort of webinar, my goal is to take one thing from that learning experience that I can apply to my business to see a difference. I see this in my own program. There's so many people that will buy it and just expect for it to change their world without any execution or any effort on their part. But the way that I've been able to win in business is all that I'm looking for every single time I'm learning something, reading a book, going to any sort of event, is what is one little thing that I can take from that if I apply it consistently, it will make a positive difference in my business. Number 2 is going to be delayed gratification, which is embracing the long game. A lot of people in today's society are focusing on immediate gratification because of social media and other things, but you'll see that the ones that win in business are the ones that are able to extend the time horizon the furthest for which they're expecting to see tangible results. So for reference, being consistent with the example we gave in point number 1 is going to be YouTube. So if I'm going to introduce YouTube into my business, my perspective is if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it forever. So I don't look at applying something like YouTube and saying, well, if I don't get a client in 3 months, it doesn't work for me, it must not be my thing. If I'm going to do something, my mindset is if you can't do it for a lifetime, don't do it for a day. So when you can extend that time horizon for which you're expecting tangible results, you're less focused on the pressures and the unrealistic expectations of saying, well, this person did it in 3 months, this person did it in 1 month, this person did it in 2 weeks, and more so focusing on the principle, the application, and doing that for a long period of time, it is inevitable that you're going to see massive success, but you're now not worrying about the burden that's weighing heavy on you of these unrealistic expectations that you've put on yourself falsely because of the immediate gratification approach that so many unfortunately take. So if you can start to approach delayed gratification to every single thing that you do, you will see a massive difference in your growth. Number 3 is consistency. The only way that you can excel and exceed at anything is to increase the repetitions executed on that specific activity. So if you look at how I became the #1 personal attractor globally at EXP, I didn't do anything special. I was just more consistent at providing more value than anybody else. If you looked at a lot of what I've done to grow, for example, my YouTube audience, I haven't done anything special. I just haven't missed a week of content for the last 3 years straight. I've been more consistent. And a lot of people are waiting for perfection, but we all know that number 1, perfection is impossible, but number 2, the only way that you can work toward perfection is continuous execution through action and improving over time, which introduces the concept of consistency. So whether you're doing cold calling, door knocking, prospecting, or any shape or form, short form content, long form content, it does not matter. You are guaranteed to see massive progress and excel at that activity if you're consistent for a prolonged period of time, which goes back to the first 2 concepts of focusing on one thing at a time, embracing delayed gratification, and as you're more consistent with those results, it is guaranteed that you will see massive success with that activity. Number 4 is trusting the process. There's another simple concept that I encourage you to embrace, which is if one man or woman can do it, so can another man or woman. And what I mean by that is that the process has been proven to succeed at every given thing in life. So do not try and reinvent the wheel, but also if somebody has succeeded with it, then you can too. It's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's just when. Again, if you're focusing on one thing, embracing delayed gratification and being consistent with that activity. The important thing to do as you start to grow your business is just trust proven processes. You can look at this in any line of business, but using the example we've talked about consistently throughout this video of YouTube, well, if you follow the proven process that I've shared so many times on my channel, well, if all of these agents have been able to do it, there's no difference in reason why you can't do it. But so many people get inside of their own head and start to create chaos that is making them have limiting beliefs that they can't do it because they think that these other people had some sort of unique scenario that allowed them to succeed, but that's really not the truth. And the way that I've been able to thrive in business is I just look at proven processes that others have been able to prove to me and to the world and follow it. I don't try and reinvent the wheel. I don't try and do anything unique aside from putting my own personalized unique spin on what they've done, but by trusting these proven processes consistently and not focusing on too many things at once, this allows you to be put on the straight and narrow path and not be wandering all over the place wondering if what you're doing will work out. If you follow proven processes for a prolonged period of time, it is guaranteed to work out. Number 5 is a massive one for me, and I've talked about this very briefly in certain videos, but it completely changed my business forever, which is the concept of unattachment. And what I mean by that, again, we'll stay consistent with the example of YouTube, is yes, I've got 80,000 subscribers or whatever it is by the time you watch this video. But the thing that I'm very aware of is that I'm not special, I'm not unique. And if you're looking to grow your audience, you're looking for new people to find out about you. So where I'm going with this is that I still rewatch all of my own videos start to finish before they go live. But whenever I'm putting out a video, let's say a video on YouTube for real estate agents, I will type that into YouTube and I will look at the top 3 ranking videos and watch them start to finish. And then I will watch my own and I will say unbiasedly in unattached ways, if I did not know who I was, what I've achieved, or anything about me, and I came across my video and these other 3 that are currently ranking number 1, 2, and 3 on YouTube, would I watch my own? Do I find my own is actually more valuable, entertaining, and educational than the 3 that are currently ranking? Just because I put it out doesn't mean it's special, doesn't mean it's better than the others. I have to look at it in an unattached way. Same thing goes for thumbnails, for example. I will take my thumbnail and put it beside the top 3 that are ranking and say, if I did not know who I was, what I've achieved, or have never heard of me before, would I honestly click on mine versus the top 3 that are ranking? And by taking that very unbiased approach, it allows me to put myself in the shoes of consumers and embrace consumer behavior. The same thing goes for lead generation. I look at any ad that I'm going to run and I say, if this ad landed in front of me, would I click on it? Would I put my information in knowing that somebody's gonna reach out to me? Is there enough value to make me want to do that? As somebody that is not in the real estate space, doesn't know who you are, is your ad valuable enough? Same thing goes with short form content or organic content. If your video, your TikTok or your reel landed in front of me, would I like it? Would I comment on it? And would I go so far as to either share it, save it, or click on your profile and follow you? If you wouldn't do that on your own content, you can't expect other people to do it as well. So as you start to apply this unattached approach to every single thing you do, you're putting yourself in the behavior of how everybody else is going to interact. So that way you can start to audit what you do and guarantee that it's going to be performing properly because of the fact that you would unbiasedly engage with your own content, meaning others will as well. Number 6 is going to be focusing on base hits. This is incredibly important because so many people focus on home runs, infrequent home runs, instead of consistent singles. Games are usually won with the consistent singles. And yes, as you consistently execute on the singles, the home run inevitably happens because you've put yourself in a position to allow it to happen. But there's so many people that are executing in ways where they're hoping this big monster opportunity is going to present itself instead of focusing on just getting better every single day. Focusing on singles and making incremental progress consistently instead of hoping to God that you're going to have some sort of enormous lottery winning opportunity that's just going to come your way. And as you start to focus on this small incremental progress, that's what has completely built my business. If you start to look, for example, at what I've done to become the #1 personal attractor globally at eXp Realty, that is one-by-one conversations. You see so many agents that are saying, well, I know this massive broker that it has 100 agents in my market, and if I just get them, or if I just get this massive luxury listing, I'm gonna get 100,000 in commission, it will change my life. But the ones that win are the ones that are focusing on, instead of getting the $10 million listing, they're focusing on getting consistent $500,000 listings that will lead you inevitably to the same commission, but consistently, instead of focusing on that infrequent home run. But the really cool part is, because I did so many singles, I've had brokerages of over 130 agents partner with me. I've had $15 million listings. And those come to you because you develop the skill set through putting yourself in that position to receive those incredible opportunities. But focusing on singles and base hits instead of the infrequent home runs is guaranteed to see progress in your business. Number 7 is one so many people struggle with, which is embodied belief. You actually need to have a deep-rooted belief that you can achieve it. I talk to so many people in business. We'll use the reference of real estate agents where they say, Mike, I want to do 24 deals in my first year. They don't even consciously believe that they can do 24 deals in their first year. Or I want to get into luxury. Deep down, they don't even believe that they're capable of doing it. If you hook them up to a lie detector test, it would go off the charts because they're saying it, but they don't believe it. And this goes to the concept of manifestation, where if you look at my Instagram back in 2017, I was posting that one day I'm going to have a purple Lamborghini. Well, at that point in 2017, I had $5,000 in my bank account, which is like an oil change on one of these things. But I was so confident in myself that I will make it happen one day. I spoke it into existence and I had an unwavered belief that I would be able to do it. that it came true. Because no matter what, there was nothing that sidetracked my belief in myself that I was going to achieve exactly what I wanted to in business, in life, in anything. So a lot of people are going to prop you up, give you encouragement, but if you don't deeply believe that you're capable of achieving what you're telling yourself you're going to do, you're never going to do it. So that comes down to the number one reason people fail in entrepreneurship and business and real estate, which is mindset. It's not that you don't have the right tools or strategies or mentorship or any of that. You already know what you need to do in business. You just aren't believing that you can actually do it. So as you start to work on your mindset and your internal belief, that is what's going to ultimately change your work ethic, your consistency, and your drive and motivation toward making sure that you're doing the right activities consistently over a long period of time that will lead you to that, because it started with your own personal belief. Number 8 is self-integrity, which is the ability to bet on yourself. Now, this is something that has completely changed my life in business, and it all stems from confidence. But how do you build self-integrity and the confidence to execute? That comes from following through with commitments and promises that you make yourself. So many people are so used to disappointing themselves consistently by not following through with what they say they're going to do that it becomes the norm. So what I mean by this is I talk to so many agents to say, Mike, you know what? I'm excited about video. I'm going to get on YouTube. I'm going to record this Monday, for example. And what do they not do? Record on Monday. Oh, life happened. Things get in the way. I'll record on Wednesday. And somebody wants to go for a coffee meeting. Yeah, treat it as a negotiable. Go for the coffee meeting. I can do it on Saturday. And by not following through with the promises and commitments you make to yourself, you are building up this habit of lack of self-integrity to the point where if you say something, you say you're going to do something, you say you're going to achieve something, you don't even believe that you're going to be able to do it because you don't have the confidence that you're going to follow through with your word. And as you start to follow through with the small things, oh, I'm going to put the dishes away, I'm going to clean the house today, and you do it. I'm going to prospect today, and you do it. I'm going to record videos today, and you actually do it. That starts to build up the belief system in yourself and the self-integrity and confidence that when you say you're going to do something, you actually do it, which not just helps your business, but it helps your partners and the people around you to the point where people will see you execute on what you say you're going to do. And that starts to attract more success into your business and your life. So these are the 8 principles that have completely changed my life. And I can guarantee that if you apply them consistently into your business at a high level, it will completely change your business and life as well. If you have any comments, drop a comment below. Make sure you share with this with one person today, because again, you don't need the next shiny penny, the next platform or strategy or tool or tip or whatever. All that you need to win in business and life is following these 8 simple principles.